First four, Seattle coach Brian Schmetzer told us yesterday, I want to reward the group that won in Portland by keeping them unchanged. Problem is, he was forgetting Kelvin Leerdam is out with a yellow card suspension today, so Saad Abdul-Salam is the one change.
And that'll be an interesting area because that's where Christian Pavón plays, and with his speed and his ability in transition to get forward, if Abdul-Salam gets into the attack, what does that look like defensively for the Seattle Sounders? On the other side, you have Jovan Jones playing once again. Brad Smith is on the bench. The left side has been a strength for the Sounders, and that's because Jordan Morris, his form for this team.
Well, they will end up being unchanged from the team that got that draw at LAFC last week, which means for a just third time this year, it is Diego Polenta and Giancarlo Gonzalez starting together as center backs.
Well, it's the third time, but I think this is the partnership we're going to see for the Galaxy down the stretch here. I think this has been the partnership they have been hoping for, with Steres and Romney being players that have filled in those positions. This, to me, is their strongest back four when you look at Felcher on the right and Skelvik on the left.
Now, some of the key storylines in this one, the Sounders trying to continue the momentum from their win last Friday in Portland. The issue is they've been winless here in Seattle. They've not found a win each of their last 3 games in this building.
And for them at home, it's possession and it's width. It's getting their fullbacks into the attack, but also keeping a hold of the ball, which you heard from Jorgen Skelvik is something that the Galaxy feel they need to do as well. So that'll be interesting who wins that battle.
Meanwhile, for the Galaxy, just talking about it, can they put together that full 90-minute performance for this team? And it is Zlatan Ibrahimovic's 50th MLS game, and we've walked you through some of the superlatives chance from our history for him today as well.
And I think for the Galaxy, it's good spacing, something they lost in the second half against LAFC, where they dropped back too deep. There was too much of a gap between the midfield and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He needs numbers around him to produce. That's something the Galaxy need to do well today.
Welcome to September, everybody. The MLS regular season ends 5 weeks from today. And outside of LAFC winning the Supporters' Shield and a couple teams that are at the bottom, nothing is anywhere close to being settled or sorted out. And today's 90 minutes will have a big role to play as well in this packed-in Western Conference underway. It is the Seattle Sounders in rave green. It's the Galaxy changing to that deep, dark navy blue. It's a pair of teams that, as Rolf Felcher gets the kick in the midsection from Jordi Delem, have had fairly similar stories this year. Seattle, best ever start to a season. 5 wins in their first 6 games. By the end of May, they had lost just once. Let's take a look back at this foul. And Felcher slow to get up.
I think Delem might have caught him maybe with the hand coming through there. It didn't look like he got him with the foot.
Similarly for the Galaxy, they were hot out of the gates, won each of their first 6 home games. Both these teams cooled off, though, with a losing streak that began in May. Both of these teams have been playing pretty steady 500 ball over the last 3 months, and yet it hasn't really hurt them much in this gelatinous blob that is the Western Conference below LAFC. It's only cost the Sounders 1 spot in the standings. It's not cost the Galaxy any spots in the standings, and they know the value of a win today, and that proverbial cliche about a 6-pointer and 2 fouls called in the opening 60 seconds. Hopefully that's not a harbinger of things to come, but what are you keeping your eye on early?
And the intensity, I mean, that's part of the game today. I think for both of these teams, who we talked about their inconsistencies. For the LA Galaxy, can they possess, can they put together a 90-minute performance at a high level? And for the Seattle Sounders, building on the momentum of that win against their rival, the Portland Timbers, where they adjusted, they nullified their attack, they were able to capitalize on that, but can they do it at home now and get back to winning ways?
Pavón, good little turn in there away from Gustav Svensson. It's going to be
come back.
Pulled back for a foul, so Chris Penso really on top of the early contact in this game. Well, Svensson was pulling the shirt after he was beaten. And now the Galaxy will throw some bodies forward. And you have among the targets up there Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who has more headed goals than any other player in MLS. In these first 49 games, Dos Santos trying to find him. It's going to bounce all the way through, just in front of Diego Polenta. And this is how it looks. San Jose a win.
Goodness.
They went to second. Portland a big win to try to stay within touching distance. Dallas won. Minnesota will play LAFC later on. I mean, that is...
You blink and that changes.
absurd.
I mean, looking at that last night to today, it's a different team in the 2, 3, 4 spot. I mean, It's craziness, and Portland getting an important win, John, last night against Real Salt Lake at home, where they're going to be playing the majority of their games now down the tail end. I expect them to jump up. This is going to be fun.
And it's no disrespect to Kansas City. You're not on there. We only have room for so many teams in the graphic, but they are just 5 points below the line with 6 games to go, having won their last 3. On the outside, trying to run away from Christian Roldan. He's been starting out on the right last couple of weeks. Clipped in, looking into the middle for Antuna. Got the touch there in front of Fry. Couldn't do anything about it on target, though.
It's a great run here from Antuna because he's off the shoulder. He comes from that wide right position, runs between the center backs. Just a little bit more finesse there. That should have been 1-0. Pavone really with a great pick out on the pass. Here it is. He comes off that left-hand side now, just looking, searching. There's that run from Antuna. He just drifts off the shoulder of Arriaga, and that one was close to 1-0.
The ball did stay in play there, despite the shouts. Hooked away by Antuna. He and Jonathan Dos Santos will be a part of the Mexico camp starting tomorrow. We saw Roldan, Morris, and Leggett exchanging pleasantries in the tunnel. Part of the U.S. camp. It's going to be relevant for both of these teams as they do have games coming up in the international break, most specifically Seattle at Colorado next week. They could be without as many as 10 players on international duty. The Galaxy are hoping to get a couple of their guys back before their game in Colorado a week from Wednesday. Week 26 of the MLS season getting started. Robin Frazier's first game in charge at Colorado. They get the win. The Red Bulls' 5th home loss this year, more than the last 2 years combined. Columbus couldn't follow up their win in Cincinnati with a streak. They conceded a 94th minute equalizer at home to Chicago. What a big statement for DC United. 3 straight losses. Wayne Rooney suspended. Ola Kamara scores twice, and a 3-0 win in Montreal. Gustavo Bo is 4th straight game with a goal. 6 in 8 now, as neither of those teams really able to improve much their playoff positioning, just above Montreal and above the line. We'll talk more about Philadelphia at halftime. Hard foul there. Giancarlo Gonzalez is going to get a yellow card for that tackle.
He's saying that's my first foul. Well, if it's that type of foul, you're going to get a yellow card no matter what number foul on the day. But this is a hard tackle here on Rui Diaz. And John, you talked early in this game about the physicality, the intensity. A little nutmeg on him. He gets beat and then takes him out. He catches him with the right leg. I mean, this is something for the Galaxy. They had Skelvic on an early yellow card against LAFC last week. They had to make a halftime substitution, bringing in Dave Romney on that left-hand side. And when one of your center backs picks up an early yellow, that for Rui Diaz is the green light to just be more physical, to be more aggressive, to try and draw a second yellow. And of course the Galaxy in the last meeting between these teams
2 weeks ago,
yeah, lost Steres in what was the 5th minute?
Sixth minute. Same point in the game as Gonzalez just got that yellow. And Rui Diaz back to his feet.
And we talked to Giancarlo Gonzalez yesterday about that, saying, well, can you keep 11 players potentially on the field? He said, well, we're going to start with 11. That's the plan to finish. He almost answered that question for us.
Ask him again in an hour and a half. So we'll talk more about Philadelphia at the half, but you saw there the wonderful come-from-behind win against Atlanta to go top. Dallas back-to-back wins, outscoring their opponents 8-2. Big game 2 weeks from Wednesday here against Seattle between those two teams in the Western Conference pack right now. Sporting Kansas City, Johnny Russell the goal. 3 straight wins. 5 points below the line with 6 left. Their next 2 at Portland, at the Galaxy. New York City, they are getting 5 goals in 5 games now as they clinch their playoff spot, and they are 2nd place in the Eastern Conference right now. The Timbers needed that win after back-to-back losses, and they got it. An early Valeri goal, the difference to keep them within touching distance of the line. 2 points below Minnesota for the last playoff spot. They'll play Minnesota 3 weeks from now. San Jose, 3 more points, 2 more goals for Wando. Only one team above them now in the Western Conference. It's the team that's above everyone, LAFC. Interesting game for Minnesota, who will play LAFC twice. And they're not out of the woods yet to get to the playoffs for the first time as an MLS team. That's the one game yet to go, as Ariel Antuna is now down. Jovan Jones is getting a talking to. What this game has not had so far is the pace and the precision of last week. Some hard tackles and a lot of fouls called.
Yeah, and that's something that referee Chris Prenso is going to really have to be on top of, and he was giving that early yellow card to Gonzalez. So, and actually, just watching Seattle struggling to build up right now over first 8-9 minutes here, the Galaxy have had the better of the play. They've got better spacing. They're passing it better. And for the Seattle Sounders, I think a real issue is going to be in the middle of the field, because the Lemons, Svensson, similar types of players, and now with Roldan out on the right, they really don't have as much of a ball player in the middle of the park to get on and to make those passes between the lines. So that's something to watch for this team. Can they create enough with that front four?
Diego Polenta carrying forward. Ibrahimovic barely touched the ball so far. Katie, what are you hearing from the Sounders bench right now?
3 main points that Brian Schmetzer has been harping on to his team early in this one from the sideline. First, John, he feels like they're giving LA too much time and space. He wants to see his side apply pressure higher and quicker. Number 2, he feels like they're too slow on restarts, calling out to them to hurry up, push the tempo, be quicker. And then third, he feels like a lot of the play over here on this near side, he keeps telling them, do not force it. If it's not on, drop, switch the point of attack, and then start to build all the way out.
Yeah, certainly for a pair of teams that talked to us a lot yesterday about needing to build momentum, needing to build consistency, knowing how tight things were in the West. Sort of a sluggish opening 9 minutes of this game. Ibrahimovic dropping into his own half there to try to get involved in the buildup to find Pavone. We mentioned Christian Roldan with his brother, Cesar, an athletic trainer on the LA Galaxy staff, part of this game. And the Roldan parents are here as well. Cesar, his father, Ana, his mom, up there in the box watching this game. Their youngest son, Alex, Sounders player, out today with an ankle injury. And you could see the nerves and the emotion written all over their faces. Jonathan Dos Santos takes it back for the Galaxy. Wide now for Pavone. Goal and an assist last week at LAFC. Pavone was knocked away by Abdul Salam, and that'll be a corner for the Galaxy.
Well, when he gets the ball in wide positions, he just has one thing on his mind. It's taking on the opposing fullback 1-against-1. It was something in an interview this week where he said, I'm free to play. I feel the confidence to be able to take players on and do what I do. And he wins his team a corner here.
It'll be Dos Santos to take it. Knocked down by Abdul Salam, only as far as Polenta trying to find space. Just a little roller there. Felcher a touch. Fry got his body in the way.
Well, he would have been onside there, Felcher, because Christian Roldan had dropped onto the line to help out Stefan Fry, and any type of touch here might have taken it past Fry. Polenta does well to roll back on the right foot when just evades Rolf Felcher in the box.
Key interception there in the other end by Gonzalez on a through ball meant for Jordan Morris, and now Ibrahimovic. Fabio Alvarez, 2 assists against LAFC, matching his total from the year to that point. Across for Leggett. Leggett's cross. Antuna trying to get there. Up in the air by Jones. Morris oohs and ahs as he spins out of the traffic, but couldn't find a teammate.
Yeah, and they can't get out right now, the Seattle Sounders. LA Galaxy doing a good job counter-pressing, so when they lose the ball, they turn it over in Seattle's end. They're winning the ball back, or they're in good spots to get that first and second one. Sounders really struggling to connect any passes. They've lost it again here.
Pavone. Skelvik carrying forward. Ibrahimovic sort of lurking off him. We had about 5 or 6 goals at this point last Sunday down at Banc of California Stadium. Dos Santos trying to clip it wide for Felcher. Morris trying to recover. Felcher got a cross in, and it was sent away by Javier Arriaga. MLS and FS1 sponsored by Audi. For every goal scored, Audi will invest $500 into the Goals Drive Progress Fund to support MLS Youth Academies. Visit MLSsoccer.com/Audi to learn more. Here is Ibrahimovic. He'll shoot from here. We all know that. That's luckily to Jordy Delem to get his body in the way off the bounce. Who did that come off? It'll be a corner. It was last off Jovan Jones, says Chris Penso.
I think everybody assumed that one actually came off Antuna. We'll see at the end of this play. The strike from Ibrahimovic from deep. It's hard to tell there, but I think it did come off Antuna, but they get the corner kick either way.
Dos Santos to take an outswinger this time. You see where that line between sun and shade is moving towards the far sideline as the day goes along. So Fry, as opposed to a couple minutes ago, does not have the sun in his eye. Pavone able to hook it along. Polenta on Abdul Salam. Polenta spinning away. Another Galaxy corner upcoming. Polenta a little bit of a limp as he gets back to his feet. One of the acquisitions this year for the Galaxy. They've used him both on the left and in the middle. Dos Santos once again, and Fry there to snare it. For Ladero. Dos Santos right on top of him. Kim Kiki finds the angle for Ladero. Inside, meant for Rui Diaz, but past him. Fox Sports is proud to partner with Action for Healthy Kids, a nonprofit organization working to improve children's health and well-being in schools nationwide. Learn how you can participate and take your parent to PE Week, September 23rd to 27th, by visiting activeschoolus.org/PE-week. Ibrahimovic, again they back off, and again he'll let fly. It's a comfortable second save of the day for Stefan Fry. I'd ask you what you thought of the opening quarter hour, but I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Not been great by either team, actually. I mean, for the Galaxy, it's been better. They've controlled, I would say, this game, and their spacing is much better. Especially, they're shifting up, so there's space in behind for a guy like Jordan Morris to run, but that requires somebody in the middle to take a chance for the Seattle Sounders. And right now, even you can see the disconnect. There's nobody coming deep to get the ball. That's the type of spot and pass that Arriaga's plays. And then Jordan Morris gives it away. So been very sloppy for the Sounders early in this game. Morris taking it back from Alvarez. Leggett is buzzing around chasing. Svensson looking for a long switch and a long run for Abdul Salam. Not going to get there. And when the Sounders, John, early in the season were at their best, it was Brad Smith at left back, almost playing as a left winger. It was Kelvin Leerdam on the right, who was getting in the box, scoring goals. That's where their width came from. It allows the midfielders underneath, Ladero, Jordan Morris, Christian Roldan, to have some space and some options to connect. And because they haven't had the position, they're getting really pinned back right now by the Galaxy wingers. So the foundation for the Seattle Sounders needs to come from getting on the ball and spreading the field a little bit. But in order to do that, they have to get a hold of it. That was one of the things Brian Schmetzer said he was strongly considering, was starting Brad Smith tonight. He's coming back off an injury, came on the field as a sub last week, as Ladero's not going to get to that one in front of Polenta, but wanting to reward that group for the win in Portland last Friday. So Jovan Jones keeping his place. Salam's 10th start of the year for the suspended Kelvin Leerdam today. Couldn't find Ladero off the throw, but they'll move the chains. Well, maybe they won't. Chris Benson going to pull Abdul Salam back. Certainly not stiflingly hot today. A warm day up in the upper 70s. Ladero trying to flick that one. Svensson in there rather, and Bingham will come to collect. And the Sounders play plenty of day games at home in the summer, so it's not like it's even on the turf something that would be unusually sapping their energy today. Ibrahimovic, well, he got a touch to it or just put Kim Ki-hee off. Couldn't direct it though to Pavone. Morris around Alvarez. Down the line for Ladero. Rui Diaz making his way in the box. Morris a big run as well. Early cross intercepted. Fans are shouting. It popped up off Gonzalez's arm. Chris Benson didn't have a great look at it from his angle.
Oh, nice nutmeg.
Ladero the nutmeg on Felcher. Trying to go early in. Gonzalez stamping in the air away from Morris. Skelvik not fully clear. Rui Diaz trying to steer it. Morris couldn't do anything with it. And Morris will be a part of that U.S.-Mexico game on Friday night from New York here on FS1. 5 players on this field could be on that field that night, including Oriol Antuna, who's trying to stab that ball away. And it will be a corner for Seattle, their first of the game. Nicholas Ladero has taken a league-high number of corner kicks this year. This is his 138th, but he's only cashed one of them in for a goal. Sounders have struggled from set pieces this year. Galaxy, one of the better defending teams. That one flashing across. It stayed in play from Kim Ki-hee. Rui Diaz resetting for Roldan. Heavy touch allowing Dos Santos in. Now can Pavone start the break on Jordi Delama? Roldan stepping in. It's going to be out for a Seattle throw.
Well, it's Kim Ki-hee who flashes across this near post. Nobody with him. It just went wide there, and actually he thought it went out of bounds, but it stayed in, and they recycle it. But Jonathan Dos Santos doing a good job of closing down Christian Roldan on the recycled ball.
Skelvik under pressure. Will at least play it away from Abdul Salam. A lethargic first 20 minutes. Who can kick this game to life? In for Roldan. Gets there, turning the corner. Rui Diaz. Well, you put your money on him as much as anyone on this field. And he couldn't clearly control it.
Yeah, I wonder if this one just takes an awkward hop on the turf because it skips up on him. Christian Roldan does really well. It's a clever run to get to the end line, to cut it back. There he is, his movement off the shoulder of Jonathan Dos Santos, and I don't know if it just came a little bit quicker, if it skipped up because he can't adjust his body. It's an awkward height, almost around his thigh level, to really control that one and to get it down and take that one first time would have been difficult.
MLS on FS1 is sponsored by AT&T. Pavone, Dos Santos, Antuna making a big run. Ibrahimovic back for Alvarez instead. Just nowhere to go for either team right now. Ibrahimovic. Antuna will reset for him. Ibrahimovic rolled in. Felcher hold himself onside into a dangerous area, but only Gustav Svensson was there. And Leggett there to pick it back up for Rui Diaz. Dos Santos. Skelvik able to bring it down in front of Abdul Salam all the way through the face of goal. No one there in blue, though.
He got himself in a great spot here, Skelvik. It was Leggett who won the ball back initially as the Seattle Sounders were trying to get out. Skelvik has so much time here. Nobody closing him down. There wasn't any everybody committing towards the box.
Russell Wilson, his wife CR, 2 of the 11 new owners, all with deep Seattle ties that were announced just recently. We'll be talking to Russell Wilson at the second half kickoff. Here's Jordan Morris now. Closed down by Giancarlo Gonzalez. Out for a Seattle corner. Best chance of the game for either side.
Well, David Bingham doing a good job here, coming off his line quickly to narrow down this angle. And Christian Roldan, Lodero got the pass to him, and he times his run so well here. What a tackle, actually. It's Gonzalez who comes all the way across. Morris had a little bit more composure. There was a ton of goal. If he could have just lifted it over the top of Bingham.
Lodero, Rui Diaz turning it. Just not caught on frame. A little spark for Seattle, 23 minutes in.
It was a moment in transition for them, John, finally using the speed of Jordan Morris, who had started on this left-hand side, came all the way across, running straight down the middle of the field, gets in behind the center backs. The only thing missing was the finish.
David Bingham, who leads the league in saves, made 7 of them last week against LAFC. Busy as he's been, he leads the league in an interesting category that Opta compiles goals prevented. It's basically a reverse of expected goals. So taking a look at the types of chances that he's facing, and you eliminate the ones that, you know, miss high and wide and don't need to be saved anyway. 10 goals prevented by David Bingham this year, most in the league. The leader in that category last year was actually Stefan Fry of Seattle. Here's Pavone. Across for Ibrahimovic. Abdul Salam on top of him. Skelvik closed down by Abdul Salam, and he got back to his feet in front of Fabio Alvarez. Christian Roldan on the run the other way. Past Alvarez, past Leggett, trying to cut inside. Drew some contact. Chris Penso wags his finger, tells him to get up. Pavone now from Dos Santos. Ibrahimovic, 2v6 right now for the Galaxy. Pavone looking to cut it back, and it was knocked away by Arriaga.
Game coming to life a little bit. It's starting to open up now. Moments in transition both ways. Nico Lodero starting to float and find some space, playing these types of passes. That one goes off of Roldan, I think. Yeah, Roldan and out.
We got about 10 more minutes, and then we'll be done with the sun on the far side there. Everything will be in shade.
They're a weatherman as well now.
I try to be. You gotta have multifaceted skill sets these days.
I could see you doing that. Yeah, you'd be excellent at that.
My grandfather was a weatherman in the U.S. Army, actually, but we'll move on to this point. Ibrahimovic, the return for Felcher. Morris defending him. Ibrahimovic, first time ball in, finding Antuna. Pavone. Only Fabio Alvarez is up there. Ibrahimovic now jogging into the box. Skelvik got Roldan up in the air. Back for Pavone. Lodero stepping in. Former teammates, those two. Alvarez, a chance to reset. And it's given away to Dos Santos.
That's pinball in there right now.
Kimkihi rising up to win the ball out of the air. Lodero settles it wide for Morris. And then he just miscontrols it out of play. And that's sort of a summary of how the first 26 minutes have gone. Ibrahimovic, who we said can make some history today, actually. He scored 2 goals in each of his last 3 games. That's happened 11 times, including Joseph Martinez earlier this year. Never in MLS history has someone scored multiple goals in 4 consecutive games. And in fact, Joseph's streak ended here in Seattle. He scored just once in their defeat back in July to the Sounders. Lodero trying to sweep it to Abdul Salam, who can't cleanly control. Ibrahimovic picking it up on his 50th MLS appearance today. And only Joseph Martinez has scored more goals in the first 50 games in MLS than any player in league history. Antuna wide for Skelvik. His cross took a little bit of a deflection there off Abdul Salam. Kimkihi able to clear. 2/3 of the possession so far for the Galaxy. They forced a pair of saves out of Stefan Frei. He's under some pressure now. It's a little bit of it from Ibrahimovic. Jones able to win that header in front of Felcher. Morris nowhere to go with Dos Santos nipping at his heels. And Arriaga plays that ball out. Help us out here, Stu. Where's
what, do you want to go down, connect a few passes?
We might get to that point. How surprised? I mean, listen, these are two of the better teams in the league. These are two teams that said all the right things. What's going on here?
Yeah, well, look, one of the things is the turf in the middle of the day, it dries up a lot. They've watered the field before, but the ball's not skipping and running as much as it normally does. And that you're seeing a lot of balls popping up off the ground, and neither team is possessing it well. That's why they're missing so much.
Ladero now from Delem. Rui Diaz in front of him, left it behind him, trying to make that move, and then Leggett comes across to take it back.
But I'm not going to give them all a pass for that, because right now, I mean, it's just very sloppy. There's no sense of urgency, I'd say, from either team right now, and it's very casual. It's misplaced passes. It's a lot of tackles. There's not a real intensity going yet, which we would expect. Both these teams are fighting in the West for high playoff spots, so...
Both these teams know they're going to be shorthanded, certainly for Seattle, for their next games. Guillermo Barros-Schelotto might get a couple of guys back before they play in Colorado next Wednesday, and so it's going to be a tough challenge against a Rapids team that showed some life yesterday, to be sure, at Red Bull Arena.
And I think the other part, which I touched a little bit on earlier, John, is for the Sounders, I don't think they have enough of a ball-playing midfield that can connect passes and can move the ball between the lines, because Svensson is a player that is very good, but he breaks up plays while he covers a lot of ground. Delem is very similar to that. Neither of them are really becoming available, where you had Roldan before, or it wasn't Ozzy Alonso when he was here, but you know, a player that can really control the game in the middle of the field with his passing, with the ball. And this is where you're seeing right now, there's a disconnect. There's a huge gap in the middle of the field. Nobody to connect defense to attack. And that is something the Sounders have done so well before, to get the ball in the feet of a guy like Nico Ladero. And he's just trying to do too much and keeps losing the ball now.
Well, he won it back in that tackle. That had it taken off him by Dos Santos. And part of why... Well, let's hear first from Katie. Katie, give us something to get excited about down there for the Galaxy bench.
Well, the Galaxy coaching staff relatively happy with what they've seen. I just spoke with assistant Dom Kinnear, and he said they're spacing their possession really solid, especially in the midfield. The one thing that Guillermo Barros-Schelotto has called out to his team.
That's Rui Diaz into a good area, but then lost control under pressure. And now a slip from Kim Ki-hee might allow Pavone to get on the end of this ball. Ibrahimovic is wide open on the other side if he can find him. Arriaga up in the air. Ibrahimovic losing his footing. Two Sounders collide, and immediately the play is whistled dead by Chris Penso.
Oh, I think he's out cold.
And the training staff will come running out.
Arriaga's up and moving a little bit here. I think it was Jordi Delem, the other one?
Looks like 21 on those shorts as he's rolling over onto his back.
Well, it was Pavone down the left trying to pick out Ibrahimovic, and Arriaga throws it up in the air, heads it up in the air, and they're both looking at the ball. Oh, gosh. I mean, assume that they'd be in concussion protocol at this point. Well, Jordi Delem's still down, getting checked out.
Yeah, Arriaga back to his feet. Certainly some concern here for Jordi Delem, 26-year-old from Martinique, who has been getting this run in the middle with Svensson. You were talking about it some. Roldan pushed out to the right, a lot of that in response to the fact that Victor Rodriguez, once again, has lost big chunks of this season to hamstring injuries. So they've reshuffled the pack. Morris has come to the left, Roldan out wide to the right. Delem's been getting these starts. And a couple of Sounders are up and getting loose right now as the medical staff continues to look at Jordy DeLem.
Well, and you hope Jordy DeLem is okay here. And this is giving Brian Schmetzer an opportunity to really think about what he can do to get his team control of this game. And it might be that they make a change either way now, because the Galaxy, they have the more possession, they have controlled, they've had the better chances. Well, you could argue the one chance from Jordan Morris should have been 1-0, but also the Galaxy should have scored one through Antuna. Just a lack of quality right now in the final third, and that's a good sign. Jordy DeLem off his back.
Well, a young man that was actually ready to quit soccer a couple of years ago. It was his mom who talked him out of that decision. He, in 2016, was a part of the MLS Caribbean Combine, got a spot with S2, the Sounders USL Reserve team, as it was then known. Has played it a couple different positions with this team, has played the last 3 Gold Cups with Martinique. Good to see him back up to his feet. And again, some of this is the Sounders medical training staff. Some of this is MLS designated medical staff being very smart and cautious here with the health and long-term well-being of Jordy DeLem. Jordan Morris's dad, Dr. Michael Morris, who's been the longtime head of sports medicine for the Seattle Sounders, and they're going through some of this field side testing. Sounders will continue playing a man down right now as they try to assess what they want to do here. This is one of the toughest parts because there's that natural rush to try to get him back and try to figure it out, and sometimes you can't necessarily figure out these things quickly.
Well, I think that's an opportunity for FIFA to allow a substitution while these players are going through concussion protocol, and allow so the teams don't feel that sense of urgency of we need to get another player on the field, and you make sure that the player is, the safety is first and foremost. That is the most important, and that's all that you worry about at the end of the day. But sometimes, like you said, John, it's an urgency to get back on the field. The player wants to come back on, the coach wants the player back on.
And the argument about putting players' health and safety at the forefront should outweigh the arguments you hear sometimes against that, which is how many teams actually really will try to exploit that to their advantage, as opposed to the opportunity to make smart medical decisions. So they are going to make a change. Emmanuel Cecchini, recent acquisition. Brian Schmetzer said they want to try to find him some minutes here today. They're going to do that right now, as Roldan couldn't get on the end of that long ball. Cecchini just finishing getting himself warmed up and ready to come on for Brian Schmetzer. But still, Seattle are playing with 10 right now. Good step in front of Morris. Alvarez now goes back to Dos Santos. Cecchini is ready to come on for Seattle, the next opportunity. Dos Santos. Alvarez trying to find the angle for Felcher as Morris was closing in, but not fast enough. It's now Jones defending on Felcher. And for Antuna on Arriaga. Antuna got to the byline. The cross in. Ibrahimovic couldn't control. Skelvic holds it in. Pavone, the return. Skelvic to the byline, clipping it back in the middle. And Arriaga, gutsy to steer it back to Stefan Fry, as the Sounders have been defending this whole sequence with 10 until the ball goes out of play and they can get Cecchini on the field. Morris wins it back off Dos Santos. Ladera helping with the pressure as well. Rui Diaz deflected shot First save of the day for the league leader in saves, David Bingham. And still Emmanuel Cecchini waiting to get on the field for a Sounders team that remains a man down. Santos for Jurgen Skjelvik on his 50th MLS appearance today. Alvarez dancing around Ladero. Wide it goes to Felcher. It's kind of the point that Emmanuel Cecchini has done little quick 5-yard wind sprints down there at the fourth official's position, trying to stay warm, waiting to come on. Antuna has Pavone inside of him. Back for Felcher instead. Dos Santos trying to find Ibrahimovic. Bring it down over his shoulder. Able to find the pass for Skjelvik, but Kim Ki-hee is able to clear. Pavone, Alvarez, Leggett, Felcher. A lot of buildup. Is there any end product? No. And here comes the substitution, second appearance for Emmanuel Cecchini, 22-year-old from Argentina. Year-and-a-half loan from Malaga of Spain. His third loan in 2 years since he signed with them. He made his debut in Portland last week. And Cecchini thought that was last off of Fabio Alvarez, so he was just letting it roll out, and Chris Benso had different news for him. And there is Jordi Delem. Off now after that collision with his teammate. And done for the day, and hopefully not done for much longer than that. That's a foul as Antuna is down, holding his foot, writhing around in pain.
I think he just takes a kick there from Nico Ladero.
Interesting with Ladero, if he gets a yellow card today, he's going to be suspended for their next game. He's actually not going in with Uruguay. He's one of the few starters they're going to have for that game against Colorado. Unless he's shown a yellow today, he would be suspended if he doesn't get a yellow. It's a thing MLS has called the good behavior incentive. 5 straight games without a yellow card, they actually bring your total down by 1, so he would be that much further away from a suspension coming down the stretch. Ibrahimovic off the chest, got back to it. Alvarez now. Wide from Pavone into the hands of Fry. And then throws a little stiff arm there. Trying to run out of the backfield as we'll be speaking with Russell Wilson in a few more minutes. Antuna to find the outlet for Jovan Jones. Ladero. Dos Santos trying to step in. Felcher trying to step in. Coming up on our Audi halftime report. First half highlights, such as they are. How good are the Philadelphia Union? We're going to get Stu Olden's take on that. Big win for them, coming from behind against Atlanta. First place in the Eastern Conference. All that and more on our Audi halftime report. Ladero trying to catch the Galaxy unaware, and it bounced all the way through. Morris was close. Rui Diaz was close.
I think Rui Diaz just takes his eye off this one. He was wide open at the back post there. It came through traffic. It was smart by Ladero to take that one quickly.
Ladero fouled, advantage played. Roldan along for Abdul Salam. The cutback and a fine Christian Roldan. Leggett defending. Back for Svensson. Put a lot behind it, but Polenta got his body in the way. Pavone working hard to try to keep it in play. Polenta throwing a bit of an arm up there. Got Roldan. Cecchini got a touch. Ladero picks it up. Couldn't connect with Rui Diaz. Ibrahimovic now. Got a couple different runners. Antuna on the run. Arriaga Trying to slow him down now, waiting for the support on Tuna. Looking to go himself from the byline, got a cross in. Pavone wasn't all the way upfield, and Abdul Salam back for Fry. Rui Diaz now. Trying to get around Polenta, and just fouls him. Polenta is awfully steamed about something.
Actually, Rui Diaz just clips his heels here as he's running away.
Polenta, same story as Ladero. Shown a yellow today, he's suspended. Not shown a yellow today. His total goes down by 1. And Chris Penso is calling Ibrahimovic over.
Well, after that last play with Ibrahimovic, I wonder if it's just because he's the captain here and Chris Penso's having a word with him.
And he was telling Polenta to not come into the chat. He's pushing him away again. Penso, the former Ohio State Patrol trooper, having to manage Zlatan Ibrahimovic there. Was trying on the end of that one. Flags up for offside. I agree with the look on the face of Guillermo Barros-Schelotto there. 4 minutes on the way. Stoppage time, in large part because of the Jordi Delem injury. That just bounced off of Cecchini's hip. It's now Christian Pavone for Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Fry able to make the save.
Hey, you thought that was going to be the moment, didn't you? Zlatan Ibrahimovic has been really quiet in this first half.
Great tackle from Pavone. Ibrahimovic slow to get to his feet, and another save. 4 now on the day for Stefan Fry, 2 in quick succession.
And the run from him, he goes past the near post, so it means that here's the moment in transition. It comes off Cecchini's back, quick pass out wide, finds Pavone, almost an identical pass that found him for the goal against LAFC. He tries to come back the other way. It goes through Arriaga's legs, and Stefan Fry, because of the pace on the ball, was taken off it. Is actually able to get a hold of that one fairly comfortably.
4-minute stoppage time we're in now. Fry had 5 saves in Portland, the most he'd had in a match in a month and a half. And he has 4 so far today. Jones was fouled. Ladero. Abdul Salam, long run to get there. Skelly trying to clear it. It's bounced off Abdul Salam. He's back on it. Roldan on Polenta. Got a cross in. Ladero, Morris, Rui Diaz. 3 chances. None of them can get anything on it. Cecchini.
Good fake. They've had a couple of these today, the Seattle Sounders, where they've been able to get to the end line. This is Christian Roldan again. Does really well to get past Polenta. Ladero misses it. Rui Diaz, it bounces off his shin.
Roldan back wide for Abdul Salam. His cross on the deck. Gonzalez there to meet it, only as far as Ladero. Trying to reset it. Rui Diaz wide open. Finally a goal. 47 minutes in.
Possession and width were the keys coming in for the Seattle Sounders, getting your fullbacks into the attack. Abdul Salam gets gets into the attack here, rolls this one across. It comes back out. It recycles to Nico Ladero, who just rolls this one across. And Rui Diaz, who's missed a couple in this half, just calms himself down a half beat here and makes sure he keeps his eye on it. He focuses and just taps it in from a couple yards out. 1-0. Seattle Sounders, who it's not been a great first half, but that does not matter. They go into the break, potentially 1-0 up, and his 11th goal on the season for their talisman, well, Rui Diaz.
Chance for another. Ladero, Roldan on the run. Roldan's cross behind Morris, and the clearance just got away from Rui Diaz. Third straight game with a goal for him. That's going to be a foul. And then a not been a strike. The Sounders coming into the weekend, only Cincinnati, fewer goals scored in MLS the final 15 minutes of the first half than Seattle. And that is a biggie. A lethargic half, largely outpossessed, outshot. They lost Jordi Delem to a head injury. But they make the big moment when it matters just before the break in the final 30 seconds or so of this half. Now ticking off. Ladero into the space. Rui Diaz, it checked up off the turf. Trying to cut it back. A touch from Bingham will just be enough to see it up over the bar and out for a corner.
And you're starting to see the Sounders go more direct now, using that space in behind and the speed. Look at that ball again from Nico Ladero, who, as this game has opened up, has had more influence. And Rui Diaz just does so well. It's an individual solo effort, his industry, his energy.
Here it comes from Ladero now. Bingham got a punch to it. Antuna looking to steer it away, and before Roldan can reset, that's the end of the first half. Rui Diaz, 11th goal of the season, the difference maker between these teams. And it came right at the very end. It would have been at times a lethargic first half. Let's get the thoughts of Sounders coach Brian Schmetzer. He's live on the field with Katie.
Well, what an ending to the first 45 there. Brian, what did you take away from the first half, and specifically, what adjustments do you need to see coming out?
Well, what I was going to take away is we weren't very patient with the ball. We were giving up possession, and then all of a sudden they started to get going. They kept LA pinned in, and we got a goal. So, you know, that'll change our tactics a little bit going into halftime.
Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Welcome into the booth, one of the 11 new co-owners of the Seattle Sounders, along with his wife. You might also be familiar with his work as quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson. Thanks for joining us here.
Thank you guys for having me. It's
nice to have you.
Let's ask you, I'm sure you've been presented with a lot of opportunities like this. What made you and your wife want to be part owners of the Seattle Sounders?
Well, it was a no-brainer for us. I mean, when I came here in 2012, I fell in love with the Sounders, just a chance and everything else. I've always loved soccer. It's actually the first sport I ever played growing up.
What position were you?
I played goalie, but I left the goalie too much. I thought I was
coming forward.
I thought I was playing forward the whole time. So, anyways, I think for you know, us, you know, thinking about our kids and everything, and we love sports, Sierra and I. You know, for our kids, our son's 5 and 2, so for them to be able to grow up here and to learn the game and everything else, and it's such a big thing. We want to be able to help the community out too, and just the idea of health and wellness and getting kids outside, and so it's been exciting, and we've always wanted the team to just continue to grow in Seattle and keep doing great things.
Second half underway, no changes for either side. Sounders were forced into that first half sub with Jordi Delem coming off and Emmanuel Cecchini coming on, and they begin this half up 1-0.
I mean, what's it like for you and your family to come to these games and experience that? And you talked about your kids playing soccer in the sport.
Well, I think it's a lot of fun. I mean, we were just down there on the sidelines, on the field, there on the pitch, and it was just to be able to come out. It's right where our football locker room comes out, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, how does this compare to a football game in here, atmosphere-wise?
Well, the energy is amazing here. I mean, it's you know, it's loud as it gets in here. So I think it's exciting just to be out here and to see Raul score. That was a huge goal just right before the half right there. So that was amazing, too. So the crowd goes nuts.
I imagine it's probably surreal for you. This is your office, and you're coming here to watch a game.
It's true. It's funny because you can see how much wider the soccer field is compared to the American football field and everything else. You can see the little lines. So it feels a lot different, but it's always exciting just to watch sports in general.
Do you have teams? Do you have players that are particular favorites of yours?
I'm actually become pretty close with Jordan. You know, he's been really special for us this year. Obviously, Raul's been great for us all year. And so, you know, Zlatan's making me nervous. Every time he gets the ball, he makes me a little nervous over there. So.
He hasn't had too many chances today, though, so that's a good thing.
But I think, you know, we got to close this thing out. We got to keep finishing here. And so I'm excited about that, hopefully.
Is this something you always anticipated would be a part of, you know, you as a person, you know, club owner, soccer team owner? It just kind of happened organically, being here in Seattle, being around it?
Well, you know, funny thing is, my dad, you know, he always gave me imagination. My mom too, but I always dreamed of owning teams. I've always loved just, you know, trying to help build cultures and trying to lead, you know, a group of people. And I think, you know, for Sierra and I, we're in love with the Sounders. They've already had such an amazing culture, so much winning here, and whatever we can do to help to make sure that that stays the case and continues to grow that way.
Yeah, but what are those things, though, for you, being a guy, a team guy, a guy that's, you know, heavily involved in the community? Is it on and off the field? Is it?
Well, I think, first of all, making sure that the players have everything they need to be successful. I think the second thing is ultimately speaking the right language. I think language in a locker room, language on a team, language, you know, how we speak is everything. And just, I think that helps build up, you know, the culture as well, in which we already have an amazing one too. So we want to keep allowing that to grow. And I think ultimately we want to be able to do great things in the community. We did an event the other day, about a week ago, where we got, you know, so many kids from all over together.
Quickly taking the free kick. Dos Santos here off the Arriaga yellow. Antuna trying to hold it in. He gives away a foul.
Yeah, so
You did the event in the community, we're saying?
Yeah, so I think doing that, you know, community event, getting, you know, people from all different races, all different socioeconomic statuses, and the game of soccer is one of the greatest sports, if not the greatest sport in terms of all around the world. So be able to do that here and hopefully, you know, bring some of the best players in the world right here to Seattle.
And I heard it first.
Well, I was going to say,
new DP coming in.
But it is something I think that you've recognized there, not just sports in general. Soccer seems a sport that can really become the fabric of a community, and you see that globally, and you've certainly seen that in your time here in Seattle, how much the Sounders, it's not just a sports team people are going to watch. It's a big part of people's lives, and it must be, now you can have a big role to play in that, same as you do with the Seahawks.
You're exactly right, and I think also, too, just, you know, if you drive down First Ave right here, right before the game, you know, just watching all the fans walk down the street, you know, just the crowd, the energy's unmatchable.
And I think, you know, another thing I'm interested in is you see a lot of NBA guys that are soccer fans. You're seeing it more with the NFL now, too. Do you think this is another opportunity to, you know, for these sports to kind of be intertwined in a way and all these cross-promotional opportunities?
I think so, for sure. And I think also, too, is the reality is in America, the game has really grown drastically in the past 10 years, I feel like. Even the past 5, just from me watching. And it's just continuing to grow. I think ultimately what we want to do here is, in Seattle, like I said, is bring some of the world's greatest athletes right here, you know, and so that's what we're interested in. That's what we're fired up about.
Well, we know that your amount of time to sit and hang out with your family is about to end pretty shortly here as your season begins, so we certainly really appreciate you giving us a few minutes here today as you're here with the family watching the game. Best of luck in this endeavor. Best of luck to your coming season as well. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you guys. Go Sounders, go Hawks.
You took Clowney from my Texans. So
you're a Texans fan.
I'm a Texans fan, man.
Well, I'm not feeling bad for you right now. He's on my team.
But best of luck this season. It's fun to watch you play.
It's a pleasure, man. Pleasure.
Russell Wilson joining us here, one of the new co-owners of the Seattle Sounders, and one of the big changes this offseason for them going forward. And they try to find a second goal here now and really secure this one. It was something that Brian Schmetzer harped to his team about last week as Roldan around Polenta. Roldan letting fly. He pulls the shot wide.
Good move here from the Seattle Sounders, finding Roldan, who just skips past Polenta. It's a fair distance out here, just outside the box. He cuts across it. It goes through the legs of Gonzalez and skips past the post.
Something Brian Schmetzer talked to us about yesterday was he was pressing his team. Wasn't it great to be up 2 goals in Portland? They had not led a game by multiple goals since the middle of May, a home win over Orlando. And he said our ability to get that second goal to give ourselves some breathing room, something we haven't been able to do as they've been dropping results, as they've been dropping points across this summer. Here's Jorgen Skjelvik now running forward for the Galaxy and knocked away by Svensson. Ariel Antuna. Legit trying to find some way in. Rolf Felcher trying to find some way in. And Arriaga showed that yellow card a few minutes ago, so Each team with a center back sitting on a yellow card the rest of the way. Leggett, he'll cross it in from deep. Kim Ki-hee was there. And Morris draws the foul off Felcher. Let's get the thoughts of the Galaxy side and their coach Guillermo Barros-Schelotto speaking a few minutes ago with Katie.
The head coach was not pleased with the fact that his team gave up that goal right before half, but also the way in which they gave up the goal. He told me the message in the locker room was, be prepared for the counterattack. You know Seattle's going to bring it. We need to be ready for it and be sharper. He then went on to echo some of the points Stu made in the first half. He said, I thought our spacing was good. Our possession, in particular in the midfield, was good. A talking point in the locker room was, when we have that second pass in the midfield, at times we're going backwards. There's space to go forward, specifically singling out Alvarez, telling him turn and drive the ball forward, and when we can, look to catch Pavone on the break.
I think that was something you talked about in the first half. Just guys taking some risks. Just play those balls. Take that aggressive touch. Try to make something happen.
And especially for the Galaxy in the 10 position, if Alvarez, Gonzalez just getting away with that one there. Jordan Morris almost picked his pocket. But their strength now is down this left side through Pavone and getting the ball forward to Ibrahimovic. And Tuna, as of late, has been cold, and Alvarez as well with some mixed performances. That's the area of the field I'm looking for the Galaxy to take the next step forward. Their midfield is solid with Jonathan Dos Santos and Leggett. Two solid players, nice balance between the two of them.
Cecchini from Roldan's chest. He's got Abdul Salam up the right. Morris is in the middle. The early cross too far for him. Ladero back in front. Bingham. Well, he knocked it in behind. He couldn't control it cleanly. Fourth corner of the day for Seattle upcoming. Galaxy fewest goals allowed from set pieces, just 2 of them all year. And they have not allowed a goal from a corner kick all season. Ladero's ball in the middle. They won't allow one there as Polenta sends it along. But it is looking big picture, and having this ownership change, it's not, in the words of Adrian Hanauer, who's their controlling owner and guy that really runs things on the ground for Seattle. It's not necessarily a new pot of money, but it does provide an inflection point for this team that they were the bar. They were Atlanta before Atlanta. They were LAFC before LAFC, as that's going to be too far for Antuna. They were the ones that, coming into the league in 2009, changed everything about what people thought could be possible in Major League Soccer on and off the field. And so now, 10 years in, how do they continue to compete in a league that continues to change around them? And I think the energy and the excitement around the ownership change is part of that. The question is, what are the next steps to build around that? Right now, just trying to find a way through to make sure they're in as good a position as possible for these playoffs. Their players have told us they want to make sure they're hosting a game. Morris from Ladero. Morris for Rui Diaz, sent in behind by Polenta for a corner.
Good running here from Jordan Morris. This is excellent wing play because he recognizes where the space is, so he comes inside and finds a nice pocket. Good combination of play. And you see right now, because they have the width on that left-hand side through Jovan Jones, Jordan Morris comes inside, a little layoff, and then gets in behind.
Ladero's corner knocked out of the penalty spot. Roldan around one. Roldan scores!
Christian Roldan, he came close a couple minutes ago. Mom and Dad, they're cheering. They're enjoying the moment. He pulled one wide a couple moments ago with the left foot. This one is a set piece. Again, it's whipped in near. They don't clear. Takes a good first touch. Just skips by Gonzalez. I wonder if he just gets his foot caught in the turf here. And he just stuns him, and then the left foot, what a strike. Look at this, David Bingham, no chance. Through traffic, hit with the laces, hit with pace and power. 2-0 Seattle.
Back-to-back games with a goal for Christian Roldan. And now misplaced touch. Rui Diaz almost got in there. Gonzalez doing just enough to clean up Felcher's mistake. Roldan, who last week scored his 4th career goal against Portland, his 3rd career goal against the Galaxy. Those are the 2 teams against whom he has had the best success offensively in his career. Another misplayed pass at the back.
Here's the question for the LA Galaxy. Because they're so inconsistent, and because we saw them go down 2-0 against Portland in Portland, and then it ended up at 4, and they just got run over. What is the mentality of this team? Do they have enough? Because that has got to be the reason behind this team. They have enough talent to compete, but yet from week to week, depending on how the game goes and their reactions from that point, do they have enough to fight? When you look around your team and you're down 2-0, in the biggest games, can your team turn it around? Do you have somebody that's going to take control of this game and get you back in it? Because it's a lot of finger pointing out there for the Galaxy and no one willing to take responsibility.
Basically what happens in the weeks when you're not playing LAFC. Joe Corona is preparing to come on for the Galaxy. This was the substitution the Galaxy made when they started to feel things slipping away. Still in the lead, though. Against LAFC last week, they brought Corona on. Fabio Alvarez will come off. And we'll see if that shifts legit higher and maybe wider. Antuna cut off by Jones. Well, Brian Schmetzer said, you guys remember what it was like to be up 2 goals? It had been a couple of months until they had done it in Portland. Now back-to-back games, they find themselves in a 2-0 lead. Now they gave one back to Portland, and Timbers had a great late chance to try to tie it up.
And it's interesting because we talked all the first half, John, about how the LA Galaxy were the better of the 2 teams, but yet it's been 2 moments that separate this game, and they've been poor in how they defended those ones. So one was a recycled, it was a poor cross. Ladero picks up his second ball, fires it across, Rui Diaz puts it away. This one comes off a corner at poor clearance once again from Gonzalez. They're not able to get out. Christian Roldan in the back of the net, 2-0. So while this has not been a convincing and impressive performance from the Seattle Sounders, it's enough. And they're up 2-0 at home, and they're looking and feeling confident right now.
So first change of the game for the Galaxy. Fabio Alvarez is the man withdrawn. And Joe Corona, the 29-year-old, born in LA and lived on both sides of the border between Tijuana and San Diego as a kid, is on now, his first year with this team. And they're going to throw some bodies forward here. Jonathan Dos Santos stands over a free kick. Clip into the mixer. Polenta rising up. Comfortable catch for Stefan Frei. Early ball. Jones for the Darrow. Couldn't get there. Morris might in the end, and just a touch from Gonzalez there to steer it back to Bingham and prevent the chance. And then Cecchini, the foul on Antuna. As we reach the final 30 minutes. Christian Roldan in front of his parents. Raul Rui Diaz had someone he was excited to hug after his goal in first half stoppage time. If it continues this way, it would be just 1 win in 7 games for the Galaxy since that statement victory at home to LAFC in July, when we all thought, okay, is that the real Galaxy and can they get on a run? They have not since. And for a Sounders team that had a long winless streak going into last week, and Brian Schmetzer talked about the effects on his sanity, chance for back-to-back wins now. Wide for Felcher. Felcher will lift it in. Antuna got there, but right to Frei, who matches his tally from last week with his 5th save today.
Antuna times his run really well here. He starts on that near side, near Felcher, just drifts slowly into the box, and as soon as he sees him come back on the left foot, he attacks it. Kim Ki-hee's backing off, gets a good look at that one, just trying to flick it on towards that far post.
Corona. Pavon, a little pocket of space in behind Cecchini, handing off to Ibrahimovic. Felcher joining up. Morris trying to recover. Morris able to knock it away. Get it partially clear. Fully clear in the end, although it's stabbed back forward. Ladero trying to turn the corner on Polenta.
That's going to be a yellow.
Which will mean he is now suspended for their next game against Colorado a week from Wednesday. And both center backs now in a yellow card for the final half hour.
Yeah, Ladero just waits. He has a look at him, drags it around, and that's that push. He's going to take the contact. Cynical foul, yellow card, textbook.
Diego Polenta has become a regular with the Galaxy, having taken 6 months off last year just to sort of reset his mind, spend some time away from the game, very deliberately so. Always with the intention of coming back, and after a couple early wobbles, has been very good for the Galaxy. On Tuna, can cleanly control it. Svensson coming in to sweep it up. Fletcher able to keep it on Ladero. Dos Santos. Jorgen Skilling. Blocked up in the air by Roldan. Abdul Salam having to throw his body in there. And there you go. 19th goal in 146 career games for Christian Roldan. No field player, no non-goalkeeper has played more MLS minutes since when he was first put in the lineup on a regular basis. Beginning of July, the game was on the 2nd of 2016, just a few weeks before the coaching change that saw Brian Schmetzer take over for the late Ziggy Schmidt, the game against the LA Galaxy. In fact, that Roldan has been practically ever present. In fact, the only reason he's not the player with the most minutes overall is the 4 games he missed for the Gold Cup. Ladero for Rui Diaz, flag staying down just to be sure. The flag will come up now. That was Corey Rockwell, pardon me. Following protocol there, even though he was confident enough it was offside, just let the sequence finish in case. And in fact, the second field player most minutes played since the beginning of July 2016 is actually Nico Ladero. Gives you a sense of how much they have ridden those 2 horses in the middle of the field.
Is that a Polenta pun?
Would you like it to be?
Yeah, it could be.
Because he likes horses. I don't know if everyone necessarily knows that Diego Polenta.
We should clarify, yeah.
Big equestrian, but these key cogs for Seattle, the last 3+ years. Polenta lifts it in. Ibrahimovic waiting for it. Jones tracking back was there first, ascended in behind for a Galaxy corner. It'll be Leggett this time and not Jonathan Dos Santos to take it. And Leggett's out-swinging ball met by Cecchini only as far as Antuna. Ibrahimovic got a cross away. Abdul Salam playing safe. Will do it again from the other side. Gabriel Schelotto has been pacing around either side of his bench, all around his technical area. Last few minutes. Leggett in swinging ball this time in the traffic. It's a goal. Fry couldn't get there. Look from up here like Ibrahimovic did, and this thing's not done yet.
Well, it's a really good ball in here from Sebastian Leggett. But Stefan Fry, if you're going to come and get it, you've got to come and get it. He's not strong enough here as he comes out, and there's a lot of bodies between him and Ibrahimovic, and it's Svensson. He's trying to get over his own guy. Ibrahimovic, big, tall, physical center forward, good in the air. Barely has to jump there and just flicks that one home into an open net. Game on.
Well, let's see what happens now. Roldan couldn't find the pass. Galaxy twice last year overturned multiple goal deficits, both against LAFC. The Sounders have not blown a 2-goal lead since their first year in the league in 2009.
And they've swapped Antuna to this left-hand side now. Pavon to the right.
Ibrahimovic dancing on Roldan. Now the cross in. Fry couldn't get there in the traffic. Morris clears it away. It was Felcher who made that darting run in. Ladero and Corona hip-to-hip to battle.
Losing control of the game here, the Sounders. It's a good response from the Galaxy. A goal really out of nothing from the set piece, but it's given them life. It's given them confidence.
Dos Santos, Ibrahimovic. Trying to hook across to the far side. Pavon brought it down. Felcher a chance. It was blocked by Arriaga. Antuna wanted the cross. It's out for a corner.
And look at the number. I mean, Felcher's almost playing as a center forward now. And this ball from Ibrahimovic is ridiculous. From just the plant leg, just swings it, finds Pavon, lays it off to Felcher. And that one takes a deflection. It's another corner.
Legit. Morris got his head to it. Antuna will hand it off for Polenta. Polenta looking to curl it through traffic. Kim Ki-hee blocking it out.
They've got 2v1 here. They can get Antuna.
Polenta. Now he'll cross it in. Back to Pavon. Pavon blocked by Skelvik, his teammate. Roldan trying to start the break. Dos Santos last man back to stop it. MLS at FS1 sponsored by Target. Expect more, pay less. I mean, you felt that momentum start to shift even before the goal, but certainly since. Very different feel. Polenta lifting it in. Ibrahimovic waiting for it. Arriaga got his head to it. Morris throwing his body in.
Might stay in that one, I think.
Corona takes the bump from Ladero and keeps going. Got past 3 Sounders. Now he's going to find Pavon. Christian Pavon! Saved by Fry. He's able to cover up in front of Ibrahimovic.
Well, Russell Wilson saw it coming. He said, Zlatan's making me nervous out there. He provided the goal. And this time, Joe Corona just skipping through, beats Svensson there, doesn't get enough. It's not a strong enough a tackle. And Pavon is pushed wide enough that allows Stefan Fry to have a better angle for that save. But for the Sounders, they need some possession. I'm looking at Brian Schmetzer before down on the bench. He's saying, get a hold of the ball, move it around. Take some of the pressure off this defense.
That was a two-handed shove by Jorgen Skelvik into the back of Christian Roldan. Roldan got a flat tire out of it.
I'm not sure he has any complaints there, Skelvik.
Now the Sounders a chance to try to slow this down, take some air out. Chance for a set piece now, 20 minutes to go. Ladero standing over it, everyone back to defend for the Galaxy. Ladero's ball in, Bingham there to get it. MLS on FS1 sponsored by Heineken. Open your world. 4 straight games with a goal now for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and we mentioned if he scores another, he'll become the first player in MLS history to score multiple goals in 4 consecutive games. Picks it up there, off of Pavon, across for Antuna. Abdul Salam trying to recover. Out for a corner. 7th corner of the day for the Galaxy.
It's amazing what the goal has done for Ibrahimovic. Scoring, he's so much more engaged in the game in this second half. He really, before, I was watching a lot of him, his body language, him motioning to teammates and after plays, but now since he scored the goal, he's he's just got a new energy to him, John. He looks hungry for that second.
And for Pavone, his shot, he just lost his balance a little bit there as he was getting it off. Thought it took a deflection. Chris Penso disagrees. It's a goal kick. This month, MLS Works conducting its annual Kick Childhood Cancer campaign to raise awareness and funds for the world's largest organization dedicated exclusively to childhood and adolescent cancer research, Children's Oncology Group. To learn more and to donate, visit MLSsoccer.com/MLSWorks. In for Rui Diaz, Polenta threw his body in there. Corey Rockwell on the near side raising his flag to say that Rui Diaz was offside, which would negate any contact there. Whether the fans understand and realize that or not.
Yeah. He's offside. That's a good call by assistant referee Corey Rockwell there.
Cross clipped in. Ibrahimovic. It's going to be past him. Skelvik able to keep it. Back for Ibrahimovic. Roldan able to knock it away. Now Cecchini. Hit that ball awfully hard and ended up just paying away for nothing. And Ladero a bit frustrated by it. Dos Santos swimming around Cecchini.
It's a lot of crosses in the box now for the Galaxy because they've got a big target in Zlatan Ibrahimovic. They're just putting it to him, looking to play off the second.
Polenta sending it in. Ibrahimovic knocking it down. Can Leggett get on it? Leggett trying to find it somewhere in there. Then he goes down in a heap. There's no call.
I mean, right on cue. Long ball. Zlatan knocks it down. Sebastian Leggett then is trying to follow up the play and get a half-yard of space. Almost gets the shot off. But the Sounders have got to get pressure on the ball. The more of these crosses that they're just inviting, it becomes more and more difficult for them to defend.
Here comes Antuna again, slotting it through. Skelvik, long run to the byline, didn't get there. All right, Katie, what are you hearing down there?
I just spoke with assistant Dom Kinnear, and he said since that goal from Zlatan, they're just being more aggressive, but they're also finding Ibrahimovic sooner, which is leading to some success. He said the combination of Sebastian Leggett playing higher, along with Jorgen Skelvik being pushed forward a little bit, has been good for them, as well as Pavone roaming a little bit. He said the one thing that they have to be weary of is they cannot let Rui Diaz be unmarked in transition.
Felcher from Ibrahimovic. Pavone dropping in to pick it up. Christian Pavone through traffic, took a redirection. Antuna got there in front of Fry. That'll be a tight decision to look at, but as it stands, the Galaxy have wiped away a two-goal haul to tie the game.
Well, Antuna's missed a couple chances in this game, but no pressure on the ball again for the Seattle Sounders. And yeah, this is going to count because, well, we'll see the second one. That one's onside. The flick on. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is onside. It's a shot from Pavone. It just takes a deflection. Antuna gambles here and just runs towards the box. Abdul Salam just stops running. In the back of the net. 2-2. Come back from the Galaxy. We asked the question, down 2-0, what version of the Galaxy were we going to see here? Was this going to be the team that was going to get rolled over? Was this going to be 4-0 Seattle? And they have responded, and they've responded in style, and they are coming for more.
And they still got a quarter hour to defend this. Ariel Antuna, this is his third goal of the season in 25 games. You're not going to be able to catch up to that one.
Look, Seattle are a victim of their own. They brought this upon their team. We talked about saying 2-0, two moments in the game that they had separated them. They have not played well in this game, and they have lost all control. They haven't been able to possess the ball. They keep giving it away in the midfield especially. Great work to Morris. He's
Rui Diaz for Morris. Flag staying down. Jordan Morris.
this. Looking for a player to take control of the game, needing somebody to take the ball up, to have the confidence to take players on with speed, combination. He starts to adhere, flick around the corner, continues his run, and then a 1-2, Rui Diaz at his tight, but I think the right foot there of Skelvic keeps him on, and then one-on-one to have the ability to then, in this moment, to have the composure, to take a moment. He missed a chance in the first half. He has a quick glance to make sure he's onside, and it's a terrific finish.
And it stands.
Jordan Morris.
Chris Penso just confirming there on the field. The goal does stand.
What a goal.
Fourth against the Galaxy in his career, more than against any other team. Ibrahimovic on the other end. Ibrahimovic couldn't get it past Fry. The flag will come up for offside anyway.
Well, this is the game we were hoping for, wasn't it?
We said this was going to be great.
45 minutes. Well, the Galaxy punched back twice. And then, is that the sucker punch from Jordan Morris, or do they have enough to go one more time?
1 minute 40 seconds between Antuna's goal in the back of the net and Morris's goal in the back of the net.
They needed that, didn't they, the Sounders? It's been a really poor second half for them, but a moment of brilliance from Jordan Morris might bail them out.
Well, they've not lost a game in which they scored the first goal for 4.5 years. The only time they've ever blown a 2-goal lead, and that finished as the result, was in June of 2009 against DC United, a 3-3 draw here at home. Good on Jordan Morris, a favorite of Russell Wilson, to do something about it for his hometown team. Cleared on in, Ladero trying to get there. Gonzalez in time, although Ladero picks his pocket. Back for Roldan. His early cross. Morris waiting for it. Felcher got his head to it. Brad Smith is going to be coming on at the next opportunity for Seattle. Rui Diaz in for Ladero. He's got Abdul Salam making the run. Couldn't control it cleanly, though, to find him at the first opportunity. Roldan now. Back for Ladero. Play it in for Cecchini. The return. Ladero now. And that pinged around. That'll be a goal kick.
Jordan Morris is wide open at the back post. That would have been almost identical to the one that Rui Diaz had in the first half. Good work there from Ladero and Cecchini. Combination play.
Well, you imagine Craig Berhalter's watching this game in the New York area right now. Can't be too bad to have two of the players that will be coming in to join him tomorrow. Christian Roldan and Jordan Morris on the score sheet today. The U.S. against Mexico on Friday. Jonathan Dos Santos will be part of that Mexico team, as will Uriel Antuna, who has a goal to his name tonight. Here's Felcher. 10 minutes to go. Took us 42 minutes to find that first goal. We've had a couple since. Skelvic trying to get it behind him. Abdul Salam, and he has Jorgen Skelvic. It's a goal! It's 3-3. One of the most unlikely players, a man who hasn't scored a goal for almost 3 years. Jorgen Skelvic back on level terms.
Oh, Abdul Salam, this one's on the right back for the Seattle Sounders. He bites, he steps in here, and Skelvic just gets him. He goes in behind. It's a terrific ball over the top. Just have a look here as this one comes across. So Skelvic's in this wide left position. He's waiting to make the run. That one is tight as well. I think he's just onside. But he gets beat inside there. There's too much of a gap between Kim Ki-hee and Abdul Salam, who gets too far wide instead of staying closer, connected to his center back. And Skelvic, like you said, John, hadn't scored in 3 years. Takes that one incredibly well. Waits for it to settle and takes it on the half volley and equalizes. What a game.
October 2016, playing for Rosenborg in the Norwegian Cup was the last time Jorgen Skelvic scored a goal. Looked like Arriaga was just holding him on there.
Sorry, correction. What a half.
Sure. Brad Smith is on second sub of the day, replacing Jovan Jones. We still got 10 minutes to go here, and we have been spoiled a lot this season, certainly in the last few weeks.
Well, they heard your cheap shot in the first half where you said, well, you had 5 or 6 goals by that point in El Tráfico last weekend. And
wasn't an untrue statement necessarily. Slow burn to this one. Well, how does it end?
Well, we'll see who gets, if the Sounders continue, they have to get a hold of the ball. They need possession of the ball. Maybe Brad Smith on that left-hand side is going to give you some energy and some width and ability to get forward at times, but you have to be smart now. They're losing the battle in the middle of the field.
And Dos Santos couldn't do anything with that one. Diego Polenta has some sort of an issue. He was trying to come to the bench area. The ball was back in play too quickly. The pass behind Morris from Ladero. Galaxy still have 2 subs they can make. Antuna on the ball. Ibrahimovic. Svensson on top of him. Across to Felcher. Pavone trying to get himself back on side. Smith able to recover and stab it away.
The way this game is trending, John, it's trending the Galaxy's way, but they have enough, the Sounders, going the other way in transition. But right now, Seattle need to stop the bleeding.
47 straight at home in the regular season. When they score the first goal, they do not lose. They got one-noed early in the 2015 season after Clint Dempsey put them up in the opening minute. A 3-2 defeat to the Earthquakes that night. Will they be Skjelvik tonight? Smith, long run, Rui Diaz. Long chase for him. Polenta working hard. And draws the foul. So 3 goals in about a 6-minute stretch there. Kihi in front of Ibrahimovic to that ball over the top. Cecchini fouled. Cecchini beaten to that ball by Corona. Legit, Pavone, he was trying to play it back in the middle for Corona, and Smith was able to redirect it to a teammate. Now Christian rolled on. Ladero, early ball for Rui Diaz, intercepted by Polenta. This game's going back and forth right now on Antuna. Ladero there to take it back. Looking for the long ball here into the space for Morris. Gonzalez running with him, Rui Diaz in the middle. That's going to check back here now. Morris. Ladero. Morris with Smith on the overlap. He's going to get there. Smith-driven ball. Felcher in behind. Sounders corner.
Good work there. First of all, by Jordan Morris to stretch the game, to get his team out of some pressure, and then Brad Smith to get into the attack from that left-back position.
Offside flag will come up on Ladero as they couldn't properly work the short corner there. 5 minutes to go. It's an interesting reverse of last week because we talked to Guillermo Barros-Schelotto and Sebastian Lletget and others. Was that a .1 at LAFC, or was that 2 points dropped? And sort of conflicting answers, and both teams felt conflicted after that 3-3 draw last week. The Galaxy have now come back from 2 goals down to be in this sort of position. But will they feel a little bit of a letdown if they can't punch it across the line? Skjelvik took a deflection. Fry just got the punch in front of Ibrahimovic, and a foul whistled by Chris Benso.
Ibrahimovic is a little bewildered why that foul was whistled on him. I mean, he has every right to go for this ball. It's hung up in the air. Yeah, I don't see a foul there. I mean, Stefan Fry comes for it. He gets a good punch on it this time, making no mistake after the one that he came out and missed, and Ibrahimovic opened the scoring for the Galaxy.
Rolled on. Ladero fouled, and from a Sounders perspective, they built a 2-goal lead. They lost it. They got the lead back. They've not gone 4 straight games without a win at home since 2009. They would do that here today if they can't find a winning goal. Ladero wide for Morris on Felcher. Morris got a cross in. It's a touch from Bingham. A collision with Rui Diaz. And a whistle and a foul going the other way.
This is where Jordan Morris has been good in these wide areas, John, where he can just face up defenders, and his first step when he gets a defender, he stops moving his feet, as Felcher does there. He just waits, pushes it by him on the left foot, stands it up, and Bingham just getting enough of a touch here. Taking a piece of Rui Diaz at the end of it.
Relatively quiet day for David Bingham. Averaging a little over 4 saves per game this year. He's had to make just 2. Stephen Fry, the much busier. 6 saves for him. Galaxy will make their second sub in a moment. Julian Araujo will come on to replace Uriel Antuna. Haven't seen Araujo the last couple weeks. And we saw Araujo, long-timer right back, starting in that game against LAFC in July. Play that right midfield role. Wait a minute there as Cecchini couldn't cleanly control it. Roldan trying to sweep into the space for Abdul Salam. That's going to come back for a foul. 2 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Here comes the change. So we'll next see Antuna presumably with Mexico Friday night against the U.S. And Araujo, 18-year-old Southern California native. These players that will have an option potentially in his international career, whether to represent the U.S. or Mexico. He's coming on now. Each team with 1 available substitution for the final 90 seconds plus stoppage time. Arriaga back for Ladero off the quickly and shortly taken free kick. Araujo intercepting. Smith able to hold it in. Back wide it goes for Morris. Smith making a run. He's going to get there. Smith cross in the middle. Roldan is there. Seattle retakes the lead.
Here. First of all, it's the short free kick. And Araujo, who just comes into the game. This is his first action. He wins the ball back, loses his footing, which leaves this space now on the left-hand side. The weight of the pass here from Jordan Morris, but the run from Brad Smith off the bench, the impact from the left fullback here, and then the awareness and the ball. Doesn't need to take a look, just fires it into a dangerous spot. Roldan gambles at the back post, sweeps that one home for his second of the game, and giving the Seattle Sounders the lead once again. What a second half this has been. It's a really well-worked goal in the end, and a nice relationship between Jordan Morris and Brad Smith, providing the second goal of the night and the 20th of his career for Christian Roldan.
And Morris gets the curtain call to be replaced by Nuhu.
Good night for Jordan Morris. Really good night. A lot of work defensively he had to do in the first half, tracking back, helping with Pavon on that side and Antuna, and then still had the energy and the ability to go forward. It's a good sign for him personally and for the Sounders. It looks like he might have turned that corner from the ACL injury, where you're seeing his fitness, his confidence, his sharpness just all across the board. That final product is the last thing that comes, and he looks like he's back.
Well, he's adding to his career high with a 6th assist of the season. 9 combined goals and assists in the 8 starts for Morris since returning from the Gold Cup. Can they see it out now? Just about 2 minutes to go. As a winning goal, Polenta lifting it up. Ibrahimovic knocking it down. Only Svensson is there.
The Sounders need to win this game. Having led now, especially 2-0 at home, to give that up, to go ahead again, to now go ahead one more time, it would be a huge letdown for this team if they lose this game or draw this game at home.
As they did a couple weeks ago, their last game at home, the 3-3 draw with New England. Each team had chances late. It's an offside flag on Skelvik. That Seattle in an in-conference game would be able to get it over the line. Stephen Fry, certainly his 6 saves will be somewhat more in the background of a 4-3 result, but he's been there when his team has needed him. And that man's going to go in on a high to join the United States national team for their game against Mexico on Friday. As will Christian Roldan, second career multi-goal game. The last was in the summer of 2017 against the Earthquakes. Big day for Roldan, big day for Morris. Big relief for that man, Brian Schmetzer, if they can see this out in the final 60 seconds. Rui Diaz, who started it in first half stoppage time after a very lethargic, particularly for Seattle, first half. Clearly all we needed was to have an NFL quarterback join us in the booth to really get things to life, because...
You saw him celebrating, didn't you? Christian Roldan's goal there, doing a little happy dance.
6 goals since he was in the booth, just saying. Final few seconds. Is there another coming? Ibrahimovic getting the flick to it. Pavone trying to let it settle. Numbers flooding forward for the Galaxy. Polenta. Back now for Corona. Corona trying to lift it across. Ibrahimovic waiting for it. Got his head to it. Kim Ki-hee was there in front of Araujo. Kim Ki-hee is down in some pain. He's got to get back to his feet. Stabbed away by Arriaga. Is there time enough for one more? Or can Seattle just get to a final whistle here? That was a win for sanity last week in Portland. Can this be a win to begin a stretch drive for the Seattle Sounders? Nuhu doing all he can to stick this ball upfield. That's a foul. That's not the final whistle just yet. Is there time enough for the Galaxy to build one more attack? Bingham will lift it forward. Roldan in front of Polenta. Chris Penso ends the game. Seattle wins. This is what it means. It is now Seattle in second place in the Western Conference. It is now Galaxy within that drop zone of a Portland victory. The Timbers having a game in hand in this jumbled, chaotic mess of a Western Conference
so
and a jumbled, chaotic mess of a game.
What a fun game in the end, and two teams really pushing at the end to try and win, and for the Sounders to show the resilience to come from behind after they went down. What a win for Seattle.